Hello there everyone, welcome back to a brand new video. Today a brand new Twin Peaks video for you guys. Today I'm going to talk about my 3 favorite Twin Peaks characters. So I suppose if you haven't seen Twin Peaks yet, Twin Peaks is a 1989 I guess show that ran for around like 2 seasons, but then it got cancelled and it was brought back in 2016. Obviously Twin Peaks is one of those, I guess it's one of the most legendary shows on the planet Earth. It's literally one of the best. Yeah, it's one of the best. I'm not quite sure how to describe it, but David Lynch and Mark Frost made an absolute brilliant masterpiece, and it's such a big piece of like pop culture because this was the first, I suppose, television show that I suppose broke records, not only for like David Lynch and Mark Frost, but also in general, like the TV media world changed thanks to Twin Peaks, or it mostly changed. Let's just say that. But alright, Twin Peaks has a lot of characters. It has a variety of different characters with different personalities and different quirky aspects to them, which is really interesting. But today I'm going to talk about my 3 favorite ones. I suppose you already, if you haven't seen my video that I made about Twin Peaks, my first time watching season 1, go check that out if you want. I'll obviously link it down in the description below. But today I'm going to talk about, obviously, my 3 favorite characters. Obviously, like I said, Twin Peaks has a lot of different characters, and it was a difficult choice to make to pick my 3 favorite ones, but for some reason it was quite clear to me. It was quite obvious, but I suppose let's just jump right into it with the first character. Obviously, the main character himself, Dale Cooper. Obviously, which is really interesting. Dale Cooper's one of the most iconic quotes that he has is every day, once a day, give yourself a present. Don't plan it, don't wait for it, just let it happen. It could be a new shirt at a men's store, a catnap in your office chair, or 2 cups of good hot black coffee.
No, this is, excuse me, a damn fine cup of coffee.
Obviously quoted by Dale Cooper himself. The GOAT, played by Kyle MacLachlan. Obviously, he is a wonderful man, and suppose it kind of looks like me. I mean, they're the same pictures, obviously, like him and I, or I and him, were pretty much the same. I'm definitely like Dale Cooper, but like the most recent version of him. I also like black coffee. Suppose sometimes it's with milk, but hey, look, hey, I also love good hot black coffee. I'm literally him. But anyway, all right, Dale Bartholomew. Wait, Bartholomew? Yeah, Dale Bartholomew is his official name. Wow, that's interesting. Anyway, as a special agent of the Federal Bureau of Investigation from the FBI, known for his eccentric personality and chipper attitude.
Lamplighter Inn, that's on Highway 2 near Lewis Fork. That was tuna fish sandwich on whole wheat, slice of cherry pie, and a cup of coffee.
In 1989, he was assigned to investigate the brutal murder of beloved high school student Laura Palmer in the town of Twin Peaks, Washington. During this investigation, Cooper ended up falling in love with the town and gained a great deal of acceptance within the normally tight-knit community, particularly with the sheriff's department. Upon solving the mystery of Laura's murder, Cooper began to uncover secrets about the town's connection to a bizarre alternate reality known as the Black Lodge, home to powerful entities such as Bob, Mike the Fireman, and the Arm. But it's interesting that Twin Peaks, it looks like a normal camp cozy little show, but in reality it's much more than that. It has like secret identities and powerful stuff and mysteries and alternate realities. That's insane. It's not like the same as like Doctor Strange into the Multiverse of Madness with multiple realities. No, it's just like, yeah, I guess it's Lynchian, right? It's made by David Lynch. It makes sense for him, for his work to include some kind of like bizarre alternate take on reality, and that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Anyway, while trying to rescue his girlfriend, Annie Blackburn, Cooper became trapped in the lodge while his evil doppelganger escaped the lodge, sharing his body with Bob, and took on Cooper's identity for the next 25 years. In 2016, Cooper finally escaped the lodge with the help of Mike and the fireman, although returned to his dimension in a severely impaired state, replacing his tulpa Doggy Jones, and spent days being ushered around as Doggy by his obvious friends and colleagues. After fully regaining his functions, Cooper flew back to Twin Peaks to help defeat Bob and his doppelganger, and then traveled back in time to 1989 in an effort to save Laura Palmer and locate the negative force known as Judy. Dale Bartholomew, wait, I just pronounced it rightly just a sec ago. Dale Bartholomew Cooper was born on the 19th of April 1954 to Mr. and Mrs. Cooper of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. He had one elder brother, Emmett. Wow, that's interesting. As a boy, Dale lived at 11127 Hillcrest Avenue in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and attended Germantown Friends School, which is very interesting. During this time, Bradley's older sister Mary began to dance in a window just across from Dale's room, causing him to begin to discover sexual feelings. Oh no! Dale also became a member of the Boy Scouts of America, and Mary helped him earn a not tying merit badge by letting him tie her up in the whoa. Wait, is this fan fiction? Dude, Twin Peaks wiki. You guys, wow. Or is this official? I'm not quite sure. Anyway, I'm very excited. Let's just read more. Dale went to the FBI headquarters in Washington, D.C. with his father, where he met Hoover and was given a tour by a special agent and demonstrated his exceptional marksmanship in outscoring the agent, which is interesting. Yeah, I suppose a lot of information is seen here in the Wikipedia or the Twin Peaks wiki. Some of it might be real, I'm not quite sure, but I mean, Dale Cooper looks like a Boy Scout. I mean, probably that is true, but I'm not quite sure about the other things on here. But you know what, it's still interesting to see, Dale Cooper's backstory, and it actually had a big, obviously, impact on his later appearances, which is really interesting. But yeah, okay, we're discovering secrets, guys. We're discovering the secrets of Twin Peaks. But alright, let's talk about the second figure, or the second character, which is Audrey Horne.
Bureau of Investigation, Special Agent Dale Cooper.
So obviously, I like you very much, Audrey. You're beautiful, intelligent, desirable. You're everything a man wants in his life. But what you need right now, more than anything else, is a friend, someone who will listen. Yes, that was said by Dale Cooper. Audrey Horne was the daughter of wealthy businessman Benjamin Horne, who neglected her in favor of Laura Palmer. Following Laura's murder, Audrey became enamored with the FBI special agent Dale Cooper and tried to assist in his investigation. Years later, after an encounter with Cooper's doppelganger, she suffered an existential crisis and began to question her reality. On Thanksgiving morning, Audrey, as a toddler, pushed her 9-year-old brother Johnny down the stairs. Damn, that's her early life. That's wow. Anyway, on the morning of the 24th of February 1989, Audrey left her home at the Green Northern Hotel, was driven to Twin Peaks High School. After arriving, she changed out of her saddle shoes into a pair of red heels whilst smoking a cigarette at her locker. Observed by Donna Hayward, she then went to class where she sat in the front row. A deputy came in and spoke to the teacher, who said there would be an announcement of the death of Laura Palmer, which Audrey listened to. Obviously very interesting. Audrey later stood in her father's office, dancing in place when he came in to turn off her music. He then asked her if she had anything to do with the Norwegians leaving, which she admitted to. He threatened her if she ever did something like this again and left. Obviously, Audrey silently had dinner with her family until her Uncle Jerry arrived. Yeah, so it's very interesting. Obviously, Audrey went to meet Agent Cooper at breakfast again the following day, calling him Colonel. He had her write her name for him, and he presented the note she delivered to his room saying Jack with one eye, referencing One-Eye Jack's, a casino and brothel across the Canadian border. She revealed to him that Laura worked at the perfume counter at Horne's department store. Cooper then asked her to leave, and as she had police business to deal with. Obviously very interesting. Audrey and Dale Cooper, like, you can't have Dale without Audrey, which is obviously very interesting. And she helped Dale in his investigation to find the killer of, obviously, Laura Palmer, which is really interesting. And I mean, to be honest, like she looks very beautiful. And Dale Cooper and Audrey are such a cute, I would say, ship. They're not really officially together, but they look, and they feel so good together, and that's really interesting, because Dale Cooper, he's a very enthusiastic man. He's like a golden retriever dog, right? And Audrey is like this black cat, I suppose. The best duo that works together, as they say, obviously, which is very interesting. But yeah, to be honest, like, these two are like pretty much the main characters of the show, but they have such great personalities. And some people might dislike Audrey, and I could see why, but I think Audrey is fantastic, and she has a sort of charisma to her, which is not really shown with a few other characters in Twin Peaks. I mean, some of them are just bizarre in a way, but Audrey is also bizarre in her own way, and I think every single character of Twin Peaks is bizarre in their way. But I think, Dale and Audrey together, they work, and if they're not together, they also kind of work for the same goal, and that's also to find the killer of Laura Palmer, which is really interesting. But alright, let's talk about the third and last character, which is Shelly Briggs. Oh boy. I mean, together with Audrey, I would bark for them immediately. Alright, let's just talk about Shelly. Oh boy.
And I know that if I don't kiss you now, I'm gonna regret it the rest of my days.
Alright, Shelly McKelly Briggs, known as Shelly Johnson, during her first marriage, was a waitress at the Double R Diner, which was owned by Norma Jennings, a friend and motherly figure to Shelly, who dropped out of high school to marry trucker Leo Johnson, who had swept her off her feet by lavishing her with attention. As soon as they got married, it turned out that Leo just wanted a maid he didn't have to pay for. In her words, Leo was a monstrous home dictator, a wife-beater and dangerous criminal. He was connected to Laura Palmer's murder. As of 1989, Shelly was having an affair with Laura's boyfriend, Bobby Briggs, which is very interesting, obviously, and the entirety of the Twin Peaks story here, because, Bobby Briggs, who likes Laura, was, I suppose, was cheating on her with, obviously, Shelly, which is kind of interesting. But yeah, he was still in high school, and besides being a jock, he was something of a known hooligan. Although Bobby did not quite tread on the right side of the law, he was at least kind to Shelly, unlike Leo. The risk of the affair was great, and Bobby dealt drugs for Leo and knew just how dangerous Leo was. Shelly married Bobby, and their daughter, Rebecca Macaulay Briggs, was born 7 months later. Over the next 25 years, however, the marriage crumbled and ended in divorce some years later. Shelly continued to work at the diner. Shelly was the only child born from a dysfunctional marriage. Her parents divorced early in her life, after which her father left the state. She met Bobby Briggs in elementary school, and the two eventually began dating. However, in her junior year of high school, after discovering that he was cheating on her with Laura Palmer, Shelly confronted Bobby at their prom. In disruptive public scene. After this episode, she went to the Roadhouse, where she met trucker Leo Johnson. 3 weeks later, the couple were married by a local justice of the peace, and Shelly dropped out of high school. However, during the next 2 years, Bobby and Shelly secretly renewed their relationship.
What the hell's going on? You are witnessing a front three-quarter view of two adults sharing a tender moment. Acts like he's never seen a kiss before.
Gordon?
Take another look, Sonny. It's going to happen again.
On a slow day at the diner in February 1989, Shelly watched as Ed and Nadine Hurley came to the diner, the latter storming out upon seeing Norma. Norma asked her to help Laura with her Meals on Wheels delivery, as Heidi had a bloody nose. However, the distressed Laura told Shelly that she was unable to do the Meals on Wheels. After Laura suddenly left, Shelly went back in to tell Norma, who had her make the deliveries since the diner was having a slow day, which is very interesting. So, Laura Palmer's murder. Shelly was at work at the morning of February 24, 1989, and she asked fellow waitress Heidi why she was late to work. Heidi claimed she could not get her car started, and Shelly finished his this thought with too busy jumpstarting the old man, huh? Whoa. Alright. Alright, very interesting. They later discovered, obviously, that Laura Palmer was murdered. But yeah, I mean, the relationship that Bobby and Shelly have together is very cute in a way. I think that's really beautiful. And they're very cute together. And, you know, I really look up to the relationship because they're just so cute and they just get along. And that's the most important thing, right, in a relationship. So there we go.
Miss Double R Diner, what would you do to bring about world peace?
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you want to see more Twin Peaks videos, stay tuned because I'll be making tons more, hopefully, if I'm able to. And I suppose, don't forget to like and subscribe. And I will check you later. Goodbye, everyone.